today's episode. There, I said it again. Um, so Laura, can I see you? Yes, I can see you. It kind of looks like I don't know if I'm imagining it. Do you get a haircut? Your bangs look very, very wonderful today.
It's a good hair day.
You're having a very good hair day today.
Yeah.
Hi, Deborah. Hi, Chris. Hi, PJ. And then hi, Danica and Sharmila. All right, let me see. 11:05. I think I'm going to begin. Oh, one more. Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome.
Hi, thanks.
So, oh, Zoom doesn't let people in easily? Laura, what do you mean by that?
I have always trouble to get in. I want to be there 5 minutes before, but it often lets me only 3 minutes after or 5 minutes after while I'm waiting. So perhaps other people are just waiting to get connected to you.
That's interesting. And I sometimes when I'm done a meeting and I go on and I check my email, I see some emails from people going, I couldn't get in. I'm like, what the hell? So I guess technology is only human.
Yeah.
So, okay. All righty. I am going to begin now. Uh, checking the chat. Okay. So welcome back for another episode of your To Die for Life coaching, or as we could also call it, mortality awareness creates urgency and urgency creates action group coaching. Because that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm reminding you, it's how we get when there's a deadline, and death is the ultimate deadline that we can't wiggle out of. So it gets you to do what you got to do. And speaking of doing what you got to do and action and all that, I'm curious how your week went gratitude wise. And it is wise to have gratitude. I want to remind you that you have 1,440 minutes in a day. I think we should all try, myself included, to use 5 of them to focus on gratitude. It can really create a nice shift. Now, I saw PJ shared her gratitude awareness this week. So instead of reading it to you, I'll just give you PJ herself live to share with you what her thoughts were on gratitude this week. She shared this in the school conversation area. PJ?
Sure. I woke up one day and I realized that I was actually living. I looked around and I realized I'm actually living in an answered prayer, at least parts of it.
It's
You know,
such a
not,
beautiful
not
phrase.
the whole thing. But what a great thought to wake up to. I'm magically living in this house that I used to own, that I loved, that I had to give up in order to move in with my mom to take care of her when she needed me. And then the house came back on the market with an extra acre and with it all fenced in and brand new appliances. And the young couple had retiled the bathrooms, and not my taste particularly, but it's all new work and they invested in it. And I just realized how much I missed and how much I must have really, really, really wanted to come back to this place to make. I have a thing about wanting to be as food independent as I can. And so that means either, for people in cities or in urban environments, you can go to a farmer's market with somebody who and you've developed a relationship with, and they're growing organic things.
Mm,
But I find too that people will say that they do that, and it's not necessarily so because sales and marketing. So, in order to take out the middleman and remove the need for a gym membership for me,
that's
and
funny.
do this. I mean, if you think about it, raking and hoeing and moving the wheelbarrow and doing things like that, even just weeding. And I have to load up. I've got 3 trees that I bought that are going to be essentially bee food. And those are the first things that go in. So I'm planning this whole permaculture landscape,
Mhm.
which in different zones. And zone 1 is the stuff where you have to go out every day. So that's where if I have chickens or bunnies or pigs or something like that, they need to be close enough to the house so that I can go out every day easily a couple times a day and do what I need to do with those. And then there are things like the trees that I'm going to plant. And they don't need tending, but maybe a couple times a year. Maybe they need fertilizing, after they're watered in and established. Maybe they need fertilizing, maybe they need pruning or something like that, but it's not an everyday thing. So they can be in zone 3 and I can ride the golf cart out to them or walk out to them with the pruners and the loppers and all that kind of stuff. But it's just, and so all that stuff is wonderful and it feeds my heart and it feeds my soul and it feeds my mood. It elevates my mood. It's better than any antidepressant for me. And I can see the Milky Way with my bare eyes at
That's
night.
incredible.
There's no light pollution.
You know
It's
what I
just,
love about this? I love that I had you come on instead of just read your words because I just hear your passion and it's contagious and it makes me want to reach for more prayers. I love your expression, living in an answered prayer. That is like poetry.
it,
I hope that
it feels
inspires
like it.
everybody. Yes.
It really feels like it too.
Yes.
And no, it's not all puppy dog tails and unicorns. There's still a load of crap that I'm
Mhm.
dealing with. But shifting my focus and bringing my focus, cutting the load of crap thoughts to a minimum, keeping them to a minimum, and maximizing the focus on the gratitude and the uplifting things. I have a lot of pesky legal paperwork that I have to do.
Yeah.
And so what I can do in the middle of that is grab my little I my cat is a sloppy eater, so there's bits of kibble around his dish on the floor, and
Yeah.
I scoop those up and I put them in a little empty vitamin container, and I go out to the pond, and I'll sit there and I'll toss them and I'll watch the tadpoles and the
Oh
fish
my
feed
goodness.
on them, and and just even sitting out quietly out by the pond and listening to the bird calls and even listening to the traffic and the
Mm.
jerk who has the loudest muffler in the world who has to let everybody know he's going to work at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That those things become really small and
Yes.
it's interesting to hear. I can tell when there's a predator in the neighborhood because the roosters are quiet.
Mm.
So,
It's
and
funny.
otherwise they're noisy, but it's country.
Thank you. Thank you for
It's
sharing that.
wonderful.
It's inspiring and I want to see, your energy is just like says everything. The energy of gratitude. It's like changing your energy.
It
And
does.
I want to hear if anybody, yeah, Elizabeth says that's wonderful. I mean, really, it makes me like rethink New York City, quite frankly, but I'm not going to
Oh,
go.
you have to come visit then. Take the train, come visit. I'll
Be
pick you up.
careful, be careful. I have this on video that you said that. I'm just going to
Uh-oh,
pull it
evidence.
up. Um, so I want to hear if anybody else wants to share, and then feel it because you can feel PJ's energy about this. So I think even it's one thing writing down your gratitude, but it's another thing speaking it out loud. I think it changes because you write it down, yeah, but you share it and then you hear yourself. It's like, I don't know, it does something. So I want to see who wants to share their gratitude for
I
this
have
week
one.
or for their unanswered, they're living their unanswered prayer. Who said, I heard someone's voice. Who was it?
Deborah.
Deborah. Please do share your gratitude.
Yeah, it's interesting because I the other day was sitting in the living room and was having a difficult day and I dropped into gratitude and I was like, okay, because so easy to spin, right? And
Yes.
I was like, what can I be grateful for right now? And I always come back to one thing in the past couple of months, and that was the LA fires.
Mm.
It's very close to my house. I mean, I can walk to the
Mm.
devastation in Albania.
Wow.
And it was a very scary time. I literally lost the first month and a half of the year because I
Mm.
was displaced everywhere. And when I came back to the house, I couldn't breathe. I was just like smoke and ash and the whole thing, and I just couldn't breathe. And so I had to leave again, and it ended up we had this amazing restoration company that my insurance covered. Yay, USAA. And we spent a whole weekend cleaning out the house. I got rid of like 50 boxes of stuff. The restoration company came in, they cleaned the entire house. I mean, it feels so good in here. I am like, and out of that devastation, I am so grateful right now. My house they replaced all the insulation. My house is lit. I don't know if you've ever had a restoration company come. I mean, literally, they put everything in the middle of the room. They clean your walls, they clean your ceiling, they power wash the house. My house is cleaner than it's been like in 10 years. And
Fabulous.
I literally was sitting in the living room going, I am so grateful right now. My house is so clean and beautiful. And honestly, right now at this point in my life, I just had a birthday.
Happy
I really
birthday.
do feel like there's a fresh start. And
Yeah.
I have to be grateful for that. So that's my story.
Yeah. And Laura says, really a new beginning, Deborah. How great it is. I mean, really, literally fresh start, clean start. I mean, symbolically, everything. And,
Yeah.
I know that sometimes like if my home gets a little messy and then I clean it up, I feel differently. I can imagine if you have like a whole home renovation, that's like nothing. This is like the way you feel when you're in something like that changes how you feel. And thank you for sharing that. That's great. And happy birthday. Happy pre-birthday.
Thank you.
Um,
Congratulations on being one of the lucky ones in the
yes,
players.
big
Yeah, there's
gratitude.
gratitude in that too, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Who else wants to get energized by sharing their gratitude? Anybody else want to? It's like an energy surge. Who wants an energy surge from gratitude? Anybody? Megan. Yes.
You felt me. Um, yeah. I'm so grateful for this. I'm always so grateful
Oh,
for
thank
this
you.
moment and just the focus that you pull for all of us. And I'm grateful. I'm going to say that I am grateful to be in transition. Because at times it has been bringing me to an edge of things, but I want to just claim it as gratitude for this in-between moment in which I can create something new. I'm grateful for all of the people in my circles who've shown up with just like, here, why don't you come live here for a couple months now that you just wrapped up that project, and just some real miracles. So I'm grateful for this moment of in between in which I can create and really use the elements of this matrix of life and imagination. And I'm really grateful to have had mentors and teachers and moments like this that remind me to be grateful, that remind me and have shown me in the past that like the living of the prayer, like, okay, what is the intention? I'm grateful to know and have reflections from others, like in this moment, the reflection and the reminder of get clear on the prayer, get clear on the intention, get clear on the thoughts, speak it, say it, bring it in. So I'm grateful for that.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Um, I like that. The get clear part is important, you know. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else want to get an energy surge from sharing their gratitude?
I'll
Chris,
hop in, Karen. Good morning.
morning.
So I was just kind of reflecting on the week, and I actually even got my jar.
We're going to do a jar ceremony.
Yeah.
And even if you
Um,
don't have a jar, you're still going to reflect on the month, but it's going to be a different kind of gratitude. It's sort of the same, but a little different. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Couple things I was listening to. I was listening that kind of stuck with me and made me just kind of think and bring some amusement to myself. I was listening to Dan Siegel, in the therapy world, really popular neuropsychologist, I think. And he was talking about his mom, how she studied his work, and she kind of just boiled it down to, mindfulness is what used to annoy you now amuses you. And I was like, found that like just simplifying it of like, yeah, it seems to make a difference in how we shift our mindset. And then I was in with my hypnosis group, and someone was talking about gratitude journaling and just how they utilize it. And then I think maybe the hypnosis we did around that really helped make a difference for me too. But of just, my part of my intention that I've gotten clear on is to be more intentional and then give myself grace of like, oh yeah, I forget. We get caught up in doing all the things, but then taking the time to kind of come back and like follow through and make the list of, and just even if I didn't make the list, but like my mind definitely is remembering and coming back to just being reflective and appreciative and coming back to being present more in the moment.
That's
Um,
great. That's
so
great.
um,
It's a weird coincidence that showed up during the week that I gave you. Did that show up, the gratitude
yeah, it
journal?
was like yeah, it was this week. I had, and a lot of times I don't make that call because it's like my lunch break between clients, and I did, and I was like, yeah, no, not a coincidence. I'll take it.
Well,
So,
thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
Okay, who else wants an energy surge? Laura, yes?
Yeah, I agree with these two women. It's the same thing I resonate with. And for me, the gratitude is something that I need in my life, like the air to breathe. And I am very grateful for the fact that I can be insightful, that I can get realization, and
Mm,
it seems to me it's so horrible to have a life
mm,
where I wouldn't be aware of things that are going on or the connection, interconnectedness. So I wouldn't do the potential, I wouldn't use the potential of my life. So every time I discover something about the world or about myself or about life, I feel very, very grateful.
yes. Yes. I so relate to that one too. It's like feeling like you notice things more, you get more details instead of like a blurry blob of green. You see the leaf with the veins and the details, and it's sort of like to see life with that much clarity and think of thoughts that make you grow and or experience something or I so agree with you. I guess that's one of your core values too.
Yeah, and it makes me also, I feel more loving,
Mm,
because it's very easy to get in the position of survive, and get
mm,
ego and that kind of things.
mm,
So it makes me, and I think the age doesn't bring only wisdom, but more love. Also,
I agree with that.
I I think it
Yeah,
should. Yeah.
I agree with that a lot. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful. Anybody else want a surge of energy from sharing their gratitude for this week? Or you could, oh, good. Elise. Yay. Hi, Elise.
Hi. Okay, so not to like change the course of what you're saying, but about 2 or 3 years ago, I had a word of the year that was magic. And
Mm,
and I really I think it was like 2 years ago. And I always let my word of the year guide me, like I come back to it. And so like magic doesn't just happen, like you kind of have to look for it. And so I mean, I think it's similar to gratitude and similar to glimmers, but just keeping that word in the back of my mind helped
mm,
me like appreciate like and find even just like the mundane, like really
Mm.
magical, like when the sun streams in and I'm drinking my matcha and things like that. So I always look for the magic every
I
day. And
freaking love
just,
that.
yeah. So I just wanted to add another layer to our
I
gratitude
love that. It's a way to
conversation.
find it and a way to create it. It's like if you look for red cars, you'll notice red cars. And if you
Yeah.
look for magic, you'll find. Deborah says magic is my favorite word. I love the word too.
I love that word too. I
Yeah,
love it.
there's a store called ABC Carpet and Home here in New
I know
York.
it.
Oh man, I freaking love that store. And they have things with the word magic all over objects there. And they used to have, they don't have it anymore, like spray painted graffiti, the word magic as you entered the store. And it just made me even love the store more. And my son wouldn't like to go in there because he'd be like, every time we go in there, all you do is look around at everything. Like I just get lost because the objects in it was magical. But when I think of magic, I think of that the front entrance way and how that store even felt. Just even you see the word magic and then you open and then you go into the store and everything. It's probably neuro-linguistic programming. I just thought everything was extra magical. Thank
Yeah, and it's like we go to Colorado to Telluride in the summer,
you.
and
Mhm.
like the first time we spent like a lot of the summer there, that was my word. And so
Mm,
like now I can't unsee it. Like it's just
mm,
magic. Like everything about it is magical and like,
mm.
like that's what I feel the whole time I'm there.
Thank you for sharing that. I forgot how much I love that word. I love it. Now
Such a good word.
I want to know jewelry now. Now I just want to like look at it and magic. It's
Maybe
great.
we need to all get like friendship bracelets that say
Oh
magic on
my
them.
gosh. I'll look into that. I love it.
Okay. All right. Thanks for this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to get a surge of magic?
Share one.
Elizabeth, is that you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, and it's just a small one, but like this week and like for a while now, like I've been working on like being okay with whatever happens with my work. Like I'm like I don't know, the referrals are changing a little bit on the sound. There we go. The referrals are changing a little bit, so sometimes I'm not getting like the most full schedule, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna focus on using that time for like what's important, like catching up with this other thing, and like when the families cancel, I'm like, okay, we'll just do this and I'll do this and I'll get this other thing done. And like, so that's like helping a lot. And the like, I love these little girls I have. They're the cutest little twins ever. Like, I swear they could seriously be like on TV or something. And they canceled this week. I'm like, oh, my girls are not going to be this week. But it turned out I was able to be at home. And then I was able to see that, the Cory Booker thing,
Mm.
like he was his speech, and I was like almost moved to tears a few times. I was recording it and stuff, and I posted it online, and I got all these views and stuff on my TikTok or whatever. And it's like, that's the burst of like, wow, finally somebody's saying something, and it just felt so good that I was able to be there and watch that, which I wouldn't have been able to do if my twins hadn't canceled. So like little things like that, like just just going with the flow,
Mm.
right? Of how, like, okay, maybe I wasn't meant to see them today
Well,
or
you know what? That
whatever.
goes with Elise's thing about magic. That was magic that they made the twins disappear magically, and then this other thing appeared. So that was a magical moment. So to
Yeah, it just so worked out. And I've just been really working on, okay, well, if these people are busy or they're sick, whatever, what can I do to better myself or better my work or, whatever else that I need to get done, right?
that's
So that's
good.
been a big thing that I've been doing lately. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And again, I
Yeah.
love hearing everybody's voice when they share it. It's like everything changes. So maybe the new gratitude journal isn't journaling, it's talking to yourself like a crazy person. You just talk to yourself out loud about what you're grateful for. Um, Anna, we're welcome. I'm glad you're here. Anna did a really awesome Instagram live with me this week, and I invited all of you to join my Instagram live. If you haven't signed up yet, let me know, and I'll send you the link. I think a lot of you on here have signed up, but some of you are not from my old mastermind, or maybe you didn't see it. I don't know, but I'll send you the link because I love sharing you with my people. Anna, do you want to share something that you're grateful for from this week? Or even from life? It doesn't even have to be limited to this week.
Yeah, so many things. We're so blessed, you know. I'm grateful for having running water.
Yes, yes.
It sounds simple, but it's amazing. It's a miracle.
That's, you know what? Even those things, the invisible blessings to remind ourselves.
Yep.
Is Anna still here? I saw her disappear.
Me?
Oh, I don't
I'm
see your
here.
beautiful face. Oh, there you are. For some reason,
Yeah.
little thing switched on me. So,
Yeah.
and we're going to be talking about, PJ says, grateful for window screens, grateful for Zoom.
Mhm.
By the way, we're going to be talking about marbles, our marble jar. If you didn't bring your marble jar, there's still more of a chance because we're going to reflect on the month a little. So G for gratitude was good for this session, but I want to, I see it's 11:30. So Anna, we still have a chance to talk about what you're grateful for, but is there anybody else that wants to pop on? I'm just trying to be a better timekeeper. Does anybody else want to pop on and share something that you're grateful for? I also want to be fair and make sure that I'm distributing the energy of gratitude to everybody. Does anybody else want to pop on? Either wave your hand or write it in the chat. And otherwise, I'm going to keep moving because I actually prepared a lot today. It's already 11:30, although this has been fabulous. I love hearing everybody's stories of gratitude.
I just want to say that, like, for example, being grateful for like water, that it doesn't sound like amazing or glamorous or anything like that, but it is.
Yes. I mean, you're right. That's again, it's kind of Elise's word magic again. We forget the magic of having water. I mean, that's kind of magical. You just, I mean, if we could take somebody from like the 1700s and put them in our lives,
No,
they
but
would,
even today, you know, like there is
yeah.
in Netflix this documentary series about Bill Gates, and he had, you know, this trying to get toilets to people. There are millions and millions of people in the world who don't have a toilet at home. They have to
Mm,
share a toilet with maybe, you know, 200 people.
that's crazy. Wow.
So having a toilet at home is like we live like queens and kings.
You're
There are
right.
millions of people in the world who do not have their own toilet at home.
It's very true. Thank you for that. The things that, like the invisible blessings, the things we just take for granted that we need to shine light on and be thankful for. Thank you for that. Thank you for this. No matter what's happening in your day, there's something around you that you should be grateful for. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to do a marble ceremony. Again, I want everybody, Megan says, thank you for highlighting that, Anna.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
I also never want anybody to feel like this is homework or an assignment. I want it to feel fun and engaging and inspiring. So, no pressure if you don't have your marbles, because just hearing about this, you can also do it privately if you're more of a private person. But I do have my marbles with me today. And I know Debbie, who said she can't be here, and Bonnie, who said she can't be here. They had marble jars and dishes. But I want to tell you how it works. So even if you don't want to do this with me right now, this is how it works. So you can do it privately, and maybe I'll get you excited to do it. You get to hear a clunk. There's a special little noise when you transfer one marble to another jar. So what I want you to do is get marbles, and according to your age, you could just ask ChatGPT and how many marbles. I have it for living to 100 because my son asked me to live to 200 and I bargained him down to 100 and he accepted. So I'm going for 100. Also, we live in this world right now where everything's changing so much. It might even be more and more possible to live to 100 with everything that AI can do for us and everything. Who knows? So you get the marbles, you put them in the jars. I have 2 jars, and one jar is for the marbles left that you have to live, and one is for the marbles that you have lived. Okay. And when you look at them, you have happy memories in here too. And when you put one in, it's a little weird. I gotta tell you, even still, when you drop it in, that's 1 month gone. And I was thinking about this the other day. Oh my God, this kind of was a wake up for me. If I'm 64 and I'm going to be 65 this summer and I plan to live to 100, I only have 35 summers left to go. Oh my gosh, when I say that, that puts a fire under my tush. 35 summers, 35 summer vacations to plan. It's weird. It's really weird. But it's wake up weird. It's wake up good. So what you do is you could either do this ritual at night with a glass of wine, or in the morning with a cup of coffee, or hey, no judgment, in the morning with a glass of wine. No, I do not promote that. But I want you to make it a ritual, because there's something about making something a ritual that makes everything feel more sacred. And we have only the birthday once a year, but this is sort of like a birthday once a month, or a New Year's once a month. And it's very magical and powerful. So what you're going to do is, when you take out the marble, you hold it in your hand, and whoever has a marble now, I want you to hold your marble in your hand. And I don't want to make anybody feel pressured, but if you have your marbles, you hold it in your hand and you feel it, the weight of it, and you think about it, and you think, this was your month. This visualization of this is so, I'm telling you, it's like powerful. And you think, that's your month. How did you spend this last month? And you look back on it. And did you waste it on crap and clutter? Be honest with yourself. This is how it's different than gratitude, because it's also a little bit of stoicism, where you're supposed to, be honest with yourself and how you spent your time, and look for things that you're supposed to have learned, both good and bad, from this month. And think about where you're putting your time. And think about the insights that you learned, or if you had any new experiences, and then think about what you're looking forward to for the next month, and start getting excited about the next month. So here's something very funny, is that I don't know if it's funny or not, but I was supposed to, my mother has up and down health. And so I also think about her marbles. Like, I almost don't even want to mention the marble. I haven't mentioned, so it's not even almost, I have not mentioned my marble jar to her, because I feel like, oh my gosh, if I think I don't have any, she's 93, but I told her I was going to visit her in March. And then she got sick and she didn't want me to come. And then I think Ari got sick. I don't know what it was. But then I had this tooth thing. I don't know if I told you, I did tell you guys last time, where I had this fractured tooth, and I was supposed to visit my mother that weekend. And I went to the dentist, and they're like, you're going to be in pain. We're going to give you pain medication, but you're going to be in pain all weekend. And I'm going to visit my mother. Like, I knew I had to make it in March. I told myself that March was the month I visit my mother. I think about the marble jar. I think about her age. And so I went to visit her, pop in pain medication, eating soft foods while I'm visiting her. I mean, it was sort of funny, but I made it happen in March. I didn't do the someday or next month. It's like, no, this was my March thing. I'm going in March. And so that's like one of my March stories. Like, this was a month. And I think about how few marbles I have left to visit and spend time with my mother also. So I think like that. That's just one story. Does anybody want to share a story about March and maybe a lesson that they learned or an insight and or what you're excited about for next month? Because as we spoke about, clarity is the recipe to create gratitude. So if there's something that you want this month, we're already in April. So we were supposed to do this April 1st, but we meet on Fridays. So what you want to have happen for April? Does anybody want to, even if you don't have the marble, want to set your sights on something magical? I am really loving that word. That you want, that you're looking forward to for April, or some insight from March? Anybody? And if not, it's okay. I have more slides, and I never want anybody to feel like they're on the spot. But if you want to share, I'm here to hear you. Laura, yes.
I can say quickly something. I'm planning all the year and all the months, and April now is the time where the energy is very large, very expansive, very, very free, and gives a lot of vision. So I'm using the April for looking where I am going and connecting it to the past, so that there is a large tree and there are branches that are growing on it, and those branches, they have blossom, because when you have blossom, then you will have the fruit. So I'm consecrating April to see what did work my last couple of months, because times are changing so quickly, and what branches I am going to keep and cultivating and using the insights I have now, because the vision is so large, everything is growing, and supporting that and supporting myself, and make a plan that is realistic also. Really be the good gardener, not just have ideas and then going blindly in it, but really what is realistic, what can I do, and then go with the full energy in it next month.
I love that. I love the metaphor of gardener too.
Yeah.
So Deborah says, I'm going into my 5-day writing challenge into selling my course starting next week. I'm excited for the next successful launch. Thank you for sharing that, Deborah. Maybe that will, I want somebody, if you want to share something even work-wise, it can be that too. You know, does anybody want to share something? Yes, TJ?
Yeah, I want to share that in March, I started celebrating progress over the finish line. So making incremental steps towards what the goals are versus being entirely goal focused. Or that's the only time you get the cheese is when you get to the goal. So just
I love that.
celebrating those little bits of progress. And as I mentioned, I have some legal drama going on in my life, and I have this thing that I call a God box, and stuff that is beyond my control, that I can't really handle, I write it on a piece of paper and I put it in the God box and I give it to God.
That's
And then
beautiful.
I
Yeah.
keep taking it back. And so I have to give it back to God again, because your thoughts are habit, and so
Yeah.
changing habits takes a little while, so I'm celebrating too progress in, there's a diminishing amount of time between when I take the thing back metaphorically out of the God box, and when I give it back to God to take care of. And when I time between, then I start having those circular thoughts in my head, and when I can recognize, oh, that's something I can't do about, let me give it back to the big guy. So that amount of time is getting smaller in between the act and the giving back. So I'm very pleased with
Thank you
that.
for sharing that. And Megan sent you hearts. And I want to remind
Thank you,
everybody
Megan.
that on Zoom you can send hearts and stuff like that. So if you want to do that, it's a great way to express yourself, and while the person is still sharing. Now I have so much prepared, and it's 11:43. What I'm going to do is I just want you to hear, I'm going to still ask people if they want to share, but I just want to do this before I forget. I want you, I don't know if it's going to show up on Zoom, to hear the clunk. And I'm just going to tell you that I'm entering a new phase for promoting my book where I hired some young 20-something girls to help me get on camera. They're going to like push me into the camera and get the camera going, and I'm going to freaking do it. So that's my April. I swear, I promise. And if I don't do it, when I pull out, thank you. When I pull out next month's marble and hold it, you're going to feel weird. It's something about a physical manifestation of it that's different than just journaling. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, everybody. Yes, I'm doing it. So here we go. And I hope you can hear, and thank you, Yasmin. I don't know if you can hear the clunk as much. To me, it sounds almost like, I don't know, very something. Do you hear that? It's like so like boom, 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 boom. So, Chris, thank you. We'll catch the rest on the replay. Oh, we have a colleague consult. Okay. And Chris, if you want to share your marble thing in school, please do, in case you had one to share. So what I'm going to do, because it's 11:45, I'm going to keep moving forward. And if anybody had something to share and I didn't get you, apologies, but you can share inside of school. Okay, here we go. So next up, today I wanted to talk to you about how you're never too old to rejigger your life. And last week I said, remember, there is no expiration date on new beginnings. You can get better and better, not just older and older. Age isn't a cage unless you let it be. In fact, your later years can actually become your best years. And that's just not me trying to cheer you up. It's backed by research. Oh, Laura says, love the ritual. You can feel the seriousness of it. Yes, even though it's playful, there's a seriousness. You're right, Laura. Okay. So research says that there's a U shape of happiness, that it's sort of like the skateboard park that kids play in. It's high on both ends, but low in the middle. And this is how it works out for our ages. So youth, that's when you're launching off the ramp and you're soaring high, fueled by energy, endless possibilities, and the sheer joy of thinking you're invincible. So that's sort of like, woo, and then you hit middle age. And so that's like as if someone filled your pockets with rocks, also added a mortgage, a job you're not sure you like, and a marriage that might be teetering between rom-com and psychological thriller. And then there's your kids who must love you, but sometimes have a hard time. They sometimes have a hard time showing it. And this is when the you dips big time. And then finally, we become older. And now when things go on the upswing, just when your knees give out, your happiness ticks up. And it's not that you don't have problems. It's just that you can handle them, or you know which ones to let go of. And so you find this weird little thing called inner peace. So studies show that we're supposedly, and I think it's true for me, I don't know if it's true for you guys, there's a more inner peace that comes, and speak in your peace, that comes when you're older. And this U-shaped curve of happiness reminds me of a quote from the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. And thank you, PJ. I know the metaphor is good. I love metaphors. So this is a Schopenhauer one. Life may be compared to a piece of embroidery, of which during the first half of I don't know why it says, his time, because, Oh, Schopenhauer, look at you, a little misogynistic there. He wrote it about a man, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, who is he? I'm a woman here. Yasmin says, I really needed to hear this U curve. Yes, I thought of you as I put this one on the PDF, Yasmin. And anybody who's going through change, like Debbie's been clear about going through a change in her marital, divorce. And so I thought anybody's going through divorce will feel this. So, but there's more, there's the up thing afterwards. So my life can be compared to a piece of embroidery in which during the first half of her time, a woman gets a side of the right side, and during the second half of the wrong. The wrong side is not so pretty as the right side, but it is more instructive. It shows the way in which the threads have been worked together. So what Schopenhauer said about the U curve kind of fits that metaphor too. When you're young, all you see is the polished front side. And then as you age, you start to see the messy underside, the knots, the tangles, the loose threads. And at first it's very jarring, but then you realize it's kind of a map. And those messy bits explain why the chaotic and beautiful parts interplayed as they did. Yes. Oh yeah. Hopefully in your later years, you'll start to see your life like that, not perfect, but stitched together in a way that makes sense eventually. And once you see the pattern, if you don't like it, you can change it. As I said before, you can get better and better, not just older and older. You can rejigger your life. And you don't have to go humongous with your rejiggering either. After all, a lot of us don't have the luxury of starting completely over, of shedding our lives like last year's snakeskin. There are kids half raised, staring bewildered at algebra homework. There are jobs 2 years shy of a pension. But even with your commitments, you can still shape-shift your life a little. I'm not talking about completely abandoning ship, but about learning to dance on the deck. So here's a wild thought. What if you became the world's okayest harmonica player? Or you started writing poetry that you only read to your dog? Or perhaps you could try stand-up comedy at the local cafe on a Wednesday night? Or turn your garage into a painter's studio? Find something that lights you up from within. Rejiggering your life isn't merely about the grand leap. It's about the small steps taken while the coffee brews or the laundry tumbles dry. It's grabbing a sketch pad or a set of watercolors and just making something. It's about finding those tiny moments of rebellion against the mundane that don't require necessarily a grand departure from your current life. So I'm talking about the big and the small. Plus, isn't rejiggering sort of the whole point of life? Because I do think that's why we're here, to keep growing, to learn the lessons, to try new things, to have as many experiences as we can, to grow into our truest, highest potential selves. You want to create a life so rich with quirky, personalized details that when your eulogy is finally read out loud, it sounds less like a generic checklist and more like the poetic lyrics of a life well lived. This balancing act between duty and desire isn't easy, but it's doable with a bit of flair and a lot of stealth. Now I hear you asking, but how do I start? So first, you must understand that fear is the main villain in your story. Fear of failure, of judgment, of change. You must slap those fears in the face with the following far bigger fear: the regret of getting to the end of your life and feeling like you wished you'd lived with more courage and passion. Sure, habits can be hard to break, but the only thing that should ever be set in stone is that inscription on your future gravestone. And you have the power to make sure that this inscription does not read, "Here lies the king or queen of excuses." Life is short, but it's also wide. You need to spread your arms, take a deep breath, and plunge into your life head first. Do it now, because here's the deal. We're all going to die. I know, shocking news. If you're finding out just now, I apologize. But I thought I've been trying my best to catch you up to speed on this. And if you've known about death for a while now, but still haven't done much with this info, now's the time to act, because the Grim Reaper is unbribable. The truth is, when you finally face the fact that your life has a hard stop, you'll wonder why you ever kept those pristine, unused sketchbooks on the shelf when they could have been messy, inked with attempts at capturing the curve of a sleeping cat. In the end, it boils down to this: if something is genuinely important to you, you'll find a way, and if not, you'll find an excuse. So it's time to start amping up your courage and dialing down your excuses. So I have 9 tools to rejigger your life. It's never too late to decide that things can be different, that they can be better. So here are some tools to help. One, think it, then shrink it. What do you want to add to your life? Painting, carpentry, learning to sing without making dogs howl. Break down your goal into small steps so you turn this big, scary thing into smaller, chewable bits like those cute mini cupcakes. Then time box your mini cupcake size steps into your calendar. Schedule them as if they were as critical as your yearly physical, because in a way they are. Do a daily dare. Eleanor Roosevelt supposedly once said, some people think it's not Eleanor, so I put that supposedly thing in. Do one thing every day that scares you. And I love this idea. It's terrific for building up your courage muscles. Each day, think of something brave to do. Try a new workout, say hi to your neighbors, go on a field trip to some new place that's 60 minutes away from your home, or walk down a different block even, just something that breaks you out of your routine. Build up your bravery muscles, one awkward, shaky courage lift at a time. Create a notebook of small experiments. And I thought of Debbie when I wrote this, because I thought I could picture her doing something with her illustrations, or even Danica, who's also good at drawing. Anybody here who is good at drawing. But I pictured maybe it's a product, even a notebook of small experiments, Every week, jot down your progress on your rejiggering experiments. Cooked a new recipe, took a different route to work, listened to a new genre of music. Let this notebook encourage you to stop living a life of Groundhog Day reruns, because no one wants to live the same Tuesday on a loop, no matter how good the coffee was. This is one. Write funny morning headlines, like think of yourself in third person and kind of make your whatever you're rejiggering funny. Every morning, write down one humorous headline that you'd like to see in your personal news. Local man finally learned Spanish. Woman beats own record for days in a row painting on a canvas. Or woman declares victory over procrastination, starts writing novel. Widower 78 joins dating scene, says excited to love and be loved again. And everybody, you're going to get the PDF of this. So if I'm moving quickly or you want to remember something, you'll have the PDF. Laura says she loves the headlines. They're fun to write, Buddy up like a bank heist, which is part of the reason I wanted you guys, the community here, to maybe find, I know that Yasmin and Debbie have found something that helps them right now. But if there's somebody in here, reach out. Everybody in this group is vetted, so you're safe to share with them. Buddy up like a bank heist. Find your partner in crime, figuratively, please. Team up with someone who is as eager to shake things up as you are. Make a pact to call each other out on blame excuses and push each other to take bold steps. Think of this person as your bank heist buddy, but instead of stealing money, you're stealing time to do the things you want to do. Skill swap. Know a friend who's got skills you envy? Swap skills with them. Maybe they know how to do yoga, but you know how to write poetry. Think of it as a mutual mentorship, a buddy system for the soul. So, and this group might be somebody you could, I might even, maybe I'll post that in school if there's a skill swap thing. The last year imagined. When fear and excuses start whispering in your ear, just ask yourself, if I only had 1 year left to live, would I regret not doing this? It's like getting a reality check from your future self, who is kind of bossy, but also surprisingly persuasive. Find your third place. There's this interesting concept by sociologist Ray Oldenburg called the third place, which is all about finding a physical place other than your home or office where you can feel like you're part of something, like a cozy bookstore that hosts book readings for a community of fellow book lovers, people who breathe books like you. Or think of about a dog park where not only does everyone know your dog's name, but they know your name too. And it doesn't stop there. It could be a synagogue, a church, a mosque, a yoga studio, a gym, a pottery class. Basically, your third place is a space where you feel connected, seen, and fully understood. Actually, I want this group to be your third place. I kind of see that as something that I would love. Rewrite your aspirational eulogy to include what you're rejiggering. So I had you writing your eulogy, encouraging you to write it. And if you have time to dust it off and give it a tune up, because if you're rejiggering, you want to update your eulogy to include whatever you're rejiggering. And as you add it in, think to yourself, yes, I'm taking control of my life story. It's mine to write. Let yourself feel pride too, like, holy crap, I'm actually going to live like this. Get yourself into that excited state. Remember, your aspirational eulogy isn't meant for a future crowd of mourners. It's meant for you right here, right now. So think of it as a rough draft that's never done until your life is done. And as long as you're here, your life is far from done. So time to start rejiggering, because you don't stop dancing because you get old. You get old because you stop dancing. And I don't know about you, but I plan on dancing awkwardly and enthusiastically and badly. I'm not that good of a dancer for a long time to come. So what's stopping you from rejiggering? A negative dominant belief. So let me explain. So this is a story. I was out to dinner with my family, and I excused myself to go to the restroom and found something very interesting scribbled on the bathroom wall. Lynn plus men who don't love her. This is a true thing. I saw this on the bathroom wall. And I chuckled, but I also felt Lynn's pain, because I used to, actually by now it's over 2 decades ago, I have to update that. Over 2 decades ago, I experienced bad patterns in love, which thankfully I've since broken. I used to joke that if we all had a 1 in a million chance of meeting the right guy, that I only had about 2 or 3 guys left to go out with. And I felt like I dated nearly every eligible and non-eligible man in New York City. Sitting there in the dim light of that restroom, I was tempted to write back a helpful note to Lynn right below her scribble. Lynn plus men who are just stand-ins for unresolved issues from her past. Basically, I wanted to remind Lynn that she needed to own her lessons in her bad love pattern in order to disown her bad love pattern. Unfortunately, Lynn's bathroom graffiti seemed to suggest that she thought there was no logic to her pain, and the universe had randomly handplucked her for torture. Consider how she worded her love problem. Lynn plus men who don't love her. So ironically, how Lynn viewed her problem was the problem. There's a saying, we repeat what we don't repair. This was her negative dominant belief, and she was keeping it in her head. And the same way, as Elise mentioned, looking for magic, you find magic. If you think this, you'll find this. So Lynn, it seemed, was on a repeat for a non-repaired issue. Basically, Lynn was not breaking any new romance ground because she was digging that same familiar hole deeper and deeper. Admittedly, it's hard to let go of our pain from the past. But you can at least make sure you don't make your painful story your dominant narrative like Lynn did, and like so many people do. So next week, I'm going to show you how to mend any negative dominant narratives you might have going on in your life. We will be doing what's called life review therapy, or what I sometimes call memoir therapy. We'll be spotting your negative dominant beliefs and understanding the patterns in your life story, sort of like that embroidery quote I mentioned earlier, where you look at the messy other side of the embroidery and try to see what it's trying to tell you. Plus, our core value for this week is empathic love. Empathy, compassion. And I'll be sharing more about this in school. And speaking of school, I just want to know real quickly, how do you feel about school? Do you think we need school to do these sessions? Or has it been helpful? Do you feel like it's great to know that the community is there, or does it feel like homework? I'd really like to know your thoughts on using school. Yes, Megan.
I appreciate knowing it's there, but I find that when I start going down the chute of my week, I have such a hard time tracking things in my inbox anyways, that I And it might be that I need to go in and adjust the settings because I don't know if some of the school emails are more miscellaneous updates and others are more significant headlines.
Uh-huh.
And if there is a way to select preferences and maybe just get like a twice weekly update or something where I'm not having to audit quite so many email updates would be helpful.
Okay, that's very good feedback. Thank you. Elizabeth says, I just haven't figured it out, I think maybe. And Yasmin says, it's nice to have something to reference the materials. Well, I could store the materials somewhere else. It's the community part where I give you assignments to do or write something. And I know we're all very busy, and I want this to be something you look forward to. And I also, I don't want to create subconscious guilt or like, oh my God, I didn't do my homework. Like I don't, but I also want to encourage you and have a place for you. I could store all of these inside Teachable and not use school at all, so it's the community part. Does anybody want to share something about the community part? Is it helpful, or how do you feel? Anybody else? I mean, I can see that some people are participating and some people aren't, so I can sort of use that. Danica says, I like school definitely way more compared to some other platforms I've used. I've just been super busy. Yeah. Deborah, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I've been feeling really bad because I've been so crazy with this launch, but I can see, I'm really going to get into it this week, but I could see how, because I know this is a beta and you're going to continue teaching this. I can see how that would be a really good support system. And the fact that you do have writing in there and community. So you're probably not, I wouldn't get rid of it.
Okay.
I think it sounds like a really good community and support, and I love the fact that you have writing in there, so you can give extra support. So I think it's a really good thing. I just feel really bad because I've been really busy as well.
And that's what I don't want, to make people feel bad about it. So that's why I keep saying you don't have to, but I also don't want you even subconsciously to feel that way. Danica,
Yeah, but I do think moving forward, I think it's a really good thing.
You
I
do?
really do. Yeah,
Okay, that sounds like you really, really do, which is great to
I
hear
do.
also. Danica, we still have access to this group after our sessions. Yes, yes. And I'm also thinking of continuing this. And I'm thinking of introducing it to my newsletter. But if you wanted to continue, I'd give you guys a wildly discounted price because I'm so grateful. First of all, I love everybody in this group and would love to continue. I was even thinking I'd have just a group just with you guys and then offer it to the list in a different group. I've done that in the past, had two groups. But if I did do it with you guys and I'll explain that more next time or on school or whatever, I would give you a wildly discounted price. So it would be easy for you to continue, and I'd show my appreciation for you guys. But no matter what, I'll give you access to all of this. And Laura says it's kind of like a Facebook together with Zoom where the people are more on the same side of interest, so it filters a little bit better. Yes, it is a little bit like a Facebook group. Yasmin says you can use whichever platform is easy and clear. Having a go-to place is helpful, whatever platform you use. I like this better than Facebook. Danica says, great, thanks. I would like to continue. Elizabeth, I haven't been receiving the reminder emails for this group. Oh, that's weird. You know what? ConvertKit might put you in spam. And I was wondering if school was in spam or promotions, but I don't know. And Deborah says, love you all. Thank you. I love you. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but I kind of would love you to join. That's why I'm going to make it continue. And you know what I do for the next one? I have a couple of ideas, but I'm going to let you guys go for the next one. Is always have a core value of the week that's different for you to think about. And I might even do next week, I'm going to share with you my memoir therapy thing. I think that's something. And I think closure classes, which we didn't get to do because it was only 8 weeks, are something where if there's something that you still need to let go of pain or resentment or an anger, I think closure classes are really important. And legacy lab, I didn't have really a chance to do, where we really work on a legacy. So I'm playing around with that, and I'll just let you sit with that, and because it's already late. But I kind of am interested if any of those things appeal to you, or even I rename it, just do legacy lab, or just do one of them. I don't know what it is. So that we'll discuss that next time, but I'm kind of putting that into the ether. Yasmin says she'd love to continue. The place is, oh, we've become your third place. And closure class sounds great. Thank you for telling me that. Laura says closure classes sound great. Okay. Well, I just let it percolate a little because we're already over time for today. And we can talk about it next time. Oh, Deborah also says yes on closure class. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This all really good feedback. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to go now because I actually have a call at 12:30 and I have to pee. So I know you well enough. This is my third place. I can tell you that. So, thank you so much for joining this week. And I love you guys. And I'll see you back in the school area. And I'll see you next week. Okay.
Thanks.
Mwah. Bye. See you all next
Everybody.
week. Bye.